Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you this simple bridal look, and I think it's very timeless. I think it's beautiful. The colors are very neutral, so it'll work for any skin tone, any eye color, any hair color. I personally have a lot of experience with wedding makeup. I've done a ton of weddings and I have a ton of weddings booked for this summer. So I have quite a bit of experience with working with brides and what they want and giving them everything that they need. So I will be showing you this look today and a more dramatic look, which is this look. It's a little bit more dramatic and something that I personally would wear. It's also very classic and very timeless and would work on any skin tone or hair color or eye color. And yeah, if you guys want to see how I got these two looks, then keep on watching. So whenever I'm dealing with a wedding or a bridal client, I like to start with the eyes, because whenever you're working on someone else's face, you don't know their face as well as you know yours. So it's always easiest to start with the eyes, especially if there's going to be fallout. You can just wipe it away and then put on the foundation afterward. I would start with the eyes just to avoid that risk, because you don't want to be put on a time crunch. You don't want to be stressed out. You want everything to go smoothly. So even if you're not used to doing your eyes first, I would recommend it. It's a lot easier and it'll prevent any fallout from ruining the makeup that you already have on. So first thing you want to do always before starting your eye makeup is prime your eyelids with an eyeshadow primer. This will prevent your eyeshadow from creasing or smudging anywhere or just like drooping off throughout the night. This will really help keep it in place. So today I'm using the TooFaced Eyeshadow Insurance Primer. And you want to make sure to drag it down to your lower lid and really hit this corner of your eye, because that's where the most creasing and smudging comes from. So today I am using the Naked 2 palette. I use this palette for a majority of the weddings that I do, just because it's very neutral, it's very cool, and there are some warmer tones in there. It has the silverish and goldish colors. It's a really good overall palette for a wedding. If you have a client that likes the rosier tones or the more warmer tones in an eye look, you can get the Naked 3 palette. This palette is more of a blush tone palette and has the warmer shades in it, but today we're going to be using the Naked 2 palette. So first I will be using this pale shade right here called Foxy, and I'll be setting my whole eyelid with this. You want to make sure to set your eyelid with some sort of pale or translucent powder after you put on primer, because most eyeshadow primers are tacky after you put them on, and if you don't set them, they will make your eyeshadows look splotchy or just uneven. Next, taking Tease right here, which is just a matte taupe color, and I will be sweeping this in my crease. Next, I'm taking Busted right here and sweeping that in my crease just a little bit tighter than Tease. And then blending everything out with the big fluffy brush. Now with a flatter brush, I'm taking the same shade, Busted, and putting that on the outer corner of my eyelid. And then taking Blackout and putting that on the outer corner of my eyelid as well, and then blending it out with the big fluffy brush. And then with Booty Call, putting this on the inner part of my eyelid. And then taking Tease and Busted and smudging those shades into my lower lash line. And then for your waterline, you can use either a white or nude shade to open up your eyes, or you can use a brown or black shade of eyeliner to make your eyes look more dramatic. Today I'm going to be using a black because that's personally what I would wear on my wedding day, just to make it a little bit more dramatic. When you're using eyeliner, you want to make sure to use the most waterproof eyeliner that you can possibly find, because there will most likely be tears on your wedding day and you don't want to have to worry about smudging or black teardrops falling down your face. I did just run out of my favorite waterproof eyeliner, so today I'm just using the Wet n Wild black eyeliner, so just pretend that I'm using a waterproof eyeliner. And since this is the less dramatic makeup look, we are not going to be wearing falsies with this look. We'll be wearing falsies with the next one. So what I'm going to do is just curl my lashes and then coat them with a little bit of waterproof mascara. And to brighten up the eye just a little bit more, I'm taking ColourPop's Super Shock Cheek in Fanny Pack and putting that on the center of my eyelid and my tear duct. Okay, so now that the eyes are done and I look like a complete psycho, let's get started with the face. When you are doing your foundation, if you're going to be wearing foundation on your wedding day, you always want to start with a primer. You want to use a primer that you know will last you well throughout the day, something that you've used for a while and you've experienced it and you know it'll do the job. So my two favorite primers at the moment, I go through primers all the time, but my two favorite ones right now are the Benefit Matte and Poreless Matte Rescue. This is the gel consistency. I put this all over my face, and then I will layer the Porefessional regular primer, their original one, in my T-zone. So now that you're all primed, you're gonna wanna pick your favorite foundation. And if you're not a foundation girl, that's totally fine. You can skip this step. But personally, on my wedding day, I wanna look flawless. So I am going to be using a matte finish of a foundation. This all depends on your skin type. So if you're super dry, you might want to use a more of a dewier foundation. But if you're super oily, you definitely need to go towards a matte foundation. So I go through different foundations that I love all the time, and my current favorite is the Ofra Absolute Cover Silk Peptide Foundation. If you don't normally wear foundations, that's totally fine. But if you want to wear one on your wedding day, what I would suggest is going to Sephora and having them give you a couple samples of what they think would be good for you for foundation. Test out those samples throughout the day, see which one works best for you, go and purchase a foundation and see if you really like it. And if you do, then go ahead and wear it on your wedding day. And to apply it, I'm going to be using a damp beauty blender. You want to make sure it's damp or else it won't work properly. And I'm just going to go ahead and dot this on one half of my face at a time because it does dry pretty quickly. And then I also like to take the extra on the back of my hand and drag it down to my neck and put some on my chest as well. So next is concealer. I like to take a skin tone concealer, and today I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in Light. So I'm just going to cover my dark circles with it and then any imperfections that are popping outside of the foundation. So I know highlighting and contouring is like the huge thing right now, and don't get me wrong, I love to contour and highlight. That is my thing, but on your wedding day, you don't want to go overboard with it or else you will look way too overdone and it just won't look good in pictures. So what I'm going to do is take a concealer that is 1 to 2 shades lighter than my skin tone and put it just underneath my eyes. on my chin and on the center of my forehead. Now for powder, you're gonna want to avoid any baking with translucent powder or a white brightening powder. I love to bake with my Sonia Kashuk brightening powder, but I don't want to risk any flashback in a photo. And if you don't know what flashback is when somebody takes a picture of you with flash. If you have a really, really bright concealer or a really, really light powder underneath your eyes, it'll flash brighter in a photo. So you want to avoid that. So what I'm gonna do is take a pressed powder. This is Wet n Wild in Fair, and this is just a little bit lighter than my skin tone. And I'm gonna set my whole face with this, really focusing on the under eyes so they don't crease throughout the night. The sides of my nose, because that tends to get oily on my face. The center of my forehead, my chin, and my smile lines. And then just taking a big powder brush and lightly going over the rest of my face. Now it's time to bronze. I'm going to bronze my face and not necessarily contour. So my favorite is the Hoola bronzer by Benefit. And I'm going to take this same powder brush and just lightly bronze the outsides of my face. And if your dress is going to be showing your collarbones, I would go over your collarbones just a little bit. Now time for blush. You do not want to go overboard with blush. I would go with a matte blush. Make sure there's no shimmer in it, no highlight, reflectors, anything, because when you're taking pictures, that will flash back as well and make your cheeks look greasy. So today I'm using the TheBalm DownBoy blush. So I'm just going to lightly sweep that across my apples. So for eyebrows, I suggest going the most natural that you can possibly go. So I'm going to take the NYX Brow Kit in Brunette. For a more natural eyebrow look, I would go with powders instead of pencils or pomades. So I'm going to take a little angled brush like this, brush my eyebrows up so I can see the bottom arch of my eyebrow, and just lightly go across that. And then I'm just going to be setting them with some clear mascara by Maybelline's Great Lash. So next is highlighter, and if you're wanting a very natural, luminous glow, I highly, highly recommend the Hourglass Iridescent Strobe Light in Ambient. This is one of the most beautiful highlights I've ever put on my face because it's so natural. So I'm just going to lightly put this on my cheekbones and above my eyebrows, on the tip of my nose, my cupid's bow, and just a little bit on my chin. And just for a natural glossy lip, I am putting on the TheBalm Read My Lips lip gloss. This one is in Snap. So this is the finished look for the more natural look. Obviously it's not natural, but it is more toned down, more wearable for those who don't normally wear makeup. It's very, very timeless. It would work for any era out there. So let's go ahead and amp it up a little bit and put on some eyeliner and eyelashes and change our lip color and do a more dramatic makeup look. So to amp up the look a little bit more, I'm going to be adding a winged eyeliner. And today I'm using the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper. This is my favorite liquid liner as of now. So after you have your eyeliner on and you let it dry for a little bit, I'm going to be taking the black shade from the Naked 2 palette again and smudging out that winged eyeliner. So for eyelashes, what I recommend for a wedding day is using half of an eyelash. This is just my personal opinion. This is my favorite way to put on eyelashes. It looks the most natural but more enhanced. Now I'm gonna line my lips with some LA Girl Pro Endless Liner in the color Natural. And then I'm going to take a light nude lipstick. This is a liquid lipstick, and this is from Ofra, and it's in the shade Bel Air. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of shimmering lip gloss on it. This is Velvet 59's lip gloss in Hello Cat. Now I'm going to amp up my highlight just a little bit more because I personally love highlighter. And for more of a dramatic look, a brighter highlight is always beautiful. So I'm going to go in with Mary Luminizer Highlight by TheBalm. And then after you're done applying all of your makeup, even after the first look, when I was done with that, I forgot to do this, but after you're done applying all your makeup, everything is ready to go. You want to set it with a setting spray. Right now my favorite setting spray is the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray, and you want to shake it and pretty much just like drench your face in it. And this is the finished dramatic look. I personally would wear this for my wedding just because I love the makeup so much, and I would go for something a little bit more dramatic. This is also very, very classic. It's very, very neutral, and I feel like it would work on anybody, just like the first look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I covered everything that a bride needs to know on her wedding day for makeup. I think I did. If you have any questions, please comment down below and I will respond to them. And thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe if you like me, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!